Well, happy Saturday, everybody. Well, I don't know about happy. I'm not feeling too good today. Feel a little overworked and sore and tired. The analogy I made is it feels like somebody hit me in the back with a baseball bat. So we might make this video, we might not. Either way, we're gonna try and struggle through. I kind of started without you guys. Sorry. Let's bring you up to speed here. Deck cables were off. Machine is at 270-ish. So I got the deck cable back on, and I happened to look up. Turn this around. They're having some turret issues. Look at the relationship of the roller to the projection on the indexing cam. They're mismatched. You'll never get a full deck signal in this configuration. So we need to grab an X washer, some pliers. We're gonna flip this around and line that bearing back up with the projection on the indexing cam, and that should get us where we need to go. I don't know who did this. This is backwards. It wasn't me. It was one of the center's technicians. We've corrected our roller and long link, but we've got a bind too, and this thing is it's bent up. Yeah, well, now we know what they were talking about when they told me we tried to fix it with a crowbar. You don't. If you need a crowbar, stop. Just stop. Well, let's see if we can skillfully use a crowbar and try and square this back up a little bit better and free up that bind. There you go. She's good. She's good now. Let's release our, because we're not totally at 270, so we're gonna latch the back of our long link. This is good. Unlatch. No binds. She definitely needs a little bit of lubrication. Yeah. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's give her some lube while we're here, right? I have to go find their oil dropper bottle. So we're gonna place droplets of, hold on, you can't see. Droplet of oil there on the roller, at the base of the roller. If we can get some in there, good. And the rear, yeah, you guys are in the shadows, sorry. The rear of our, yeah, too much is dripping out. That's okay, it might land on something important that needs lubrication also. Like everything. Yeah. All right. Oh, I forgot the bell crank pivots. Hold on. It's so dark in here. This is the one of the lane pairs that has bad overhead lighting. I'm telling you, man, these little Milwaukee stick-up flashlights, these things are awesome. Let's turn it on and see what else we can see. Another reason these Milwaukee stick-up lights are great. That's two of them on high power, and does a damn good job. Let's turn it on. Let's see what we got. Say 1, 2, 3. Please don't blow up. Right? Pin gate is locked. Our pin deck is empty, so we should get a strike cycle and shift the deck. We have a bad spotting finger deck roller on number 7. Second ball, cycle. Yeah, oh, hold on. Yeah, I see it now. Let's stop at 270. So we're gonna 180 weight, latch, 180 release, breaker off, machine unplug, safety first. Do you guys think I only had 2 of those stick up lights? Wrong. I have 3. Ah, my eyes. Oh, yeah, that side, R7, that's a 10 side. You see how bent it is? Wow, no wonder there's enough room for pins to drop through that. Crazy. So I got to looking in there, and I thought maybe they had a broken bolt instead. This is what I found. Socket head Allen cap screw. Let me show you something. The mount hole for these spotting fingers, it's beveled, right? Flathead Allen cap screw, not socket head. Let's see if I can do this with one hand. Maybe. Let's go wider here. May have a better shot. The head of the fastener had just passed entirely through. So we have a bad spotting finger, but it's bad for a different reason. Improper hardware. Crazy. I've never seen that one before. You know, there's a first time for everything. So we've got our spotting finger replaced. Let's get a good overhead. That looks a lot better, huh? I bet the pin won't fall through now, huh? So let's try this again, huh? We gotta plug her back in, turn the breaker on. Everybody's clear. Yeah, there's nobody else working around me. Start our pin feed back up. Let's do second ball. Recycle. Yeah, buddy, there you go. Looking good. All right, this one is done. All right, so that's gonna do it for lane 6. Apparently, from my understanding, was that they had attempted to replace a short turret belt, but in doing so, they didn't take the spring, this spring, off of the long turret belt. So they felt they could accomplish that task by trying to remove the belt with a crowbar. And you can see they did not have positive results. Let's jump to lane 13, pin gate locks. Before we do that, let's go down here. 29, rake spring tube and deck shaft. Let's look at that one first. Have you ever seen one let go? I hadn't. I didn't get to witness this one, but apparently the ear on the rake shaft wore out and the thing kind of slid up and then it went boom. Maybe they're over exaggerating, I don't know. Crazy. Let's go knock 13 out real quick because that's going to be quick and easy, and then we'll jump back to this. Hold on, before we do, I asked how do the ears on the front of the spring guide tube look, and I was told, oh, they look fine, they're good. I can assure you these are not good. I think we're going to use this one as a donor. There's no spring in here, that's fine. Their spring looks okay. We want this front end, the inner sleeve of our tube. This one still has good bushings on it, unlike the one out there. So we're back to lane 13. Remember, always remember, I don't always get it on camera, but the breaker's off, the drop cord is off. We're safe-ish, right? Safe-ish T first. Let's head in a little bit closer. The complaint is locked pin gates, right? The pin, let me see if I can reach over the cross conveyor. That's pretty flippy floppy, right? Shouldn't do that. So let's see, let's remove this. What do we got here? Ah, indexing latch, bolt-on repair pin. Cool. Well, let's see if we can find the proper part first. See if I can get you guys in a good position here. You see my fingers? The top of this piece on newer units has a welded bridge on it. So if you're using a bolt, when you tighten it down, you're not going to pinch the strap, and you'll be able to tighten the hardware down so that it can't rotate. What I like to do, we're going to use a nut. We're going to put a nut in there to keep it from pinching together too far. And then we're going to tighten our hardware down and retest. We should be good to go. A little shaky. We've got our bolt in. We've got our nut in, acting as a bridge piece. The torture test is, can you see my phalanges? Lift your pin gate up and let it drop repeatedly. Check for failure. No failure. We should be good here. We've got our rear switch off. I put my jumper in here on the electrical box. We're going to plug it in. We're going to turn our circuit breaker on. I'm not worried about this one blowing up. We don't need a countdown. There you go. Second ball. Big reach. Cycle. Oh, we had a locked pin gate. Interesting. Oh, maybe that was me leaning over the cross conveyor. I may have inadvertently done that to myself. Nope. Interesting. So now we need to check the adjustment. So we've got our turret stopped in between two sections of pins in the basket. This is going to give your roller a really good flat spot to rest on when we make our adjustment. So what we're looking for is the shoulder on our strap. You can see the shoulder on the strap. Sort of, kind of. Tricky spot. The shoulder on that strap in this position, focus, should be about, I don't know, an 1/8 inch below the bolt that we just installed. We have two adjusters here, right? Loosen these clamping bolts up. You can slide up, make your gap shorter. Slide down, make your gap longer. I can't see what our gap is from this angle. We're gonna have to push this pin back a little bit and look from over the top. See if this is gonna work. If we go over the top. So we have a gap between the dirt clod and the globular modulator. No, hold on. Let's see if we can focus, please. No, this is not gonna work. There we go. Our gap's too big. We're nearly 1/4 inch. I don't know if that's really coming across. Yeah. Anybody need a toupee? We got donor machines here. Did not get it on camera, but we've adjusted the length of our pin gate strap. Let's turn everything back on and double check. Bit of a delay there. Second ball, cycle. Make sure nothing falls off the platform. I'm gonna keep my hand on it. Big delay on that turret delay gear. Weird. The pins will have extra time to be delivered from the turret to the deck chute. Second ball, cycle, because we want to get pins back here as fast as we can. We're not playing with a full deck of cards, literally and figuratively. Hey, I'm happy with that. Cool, cool, cool. Let's bounce on to the next thing on our list. I don't think we're gonna have time to get to a 1-to-1 today. Just kind of given how I'm feeling. I'm not feeling so hot, but we're still here. So, again, thanks Keith at Firebird Lanes for your kind and generous donations, sir. We have a 1-to-1. This is something that I rebuilt for 20th Century Lanes when I worked there. I don't know how old this is, but she still looks like she's in pretty good shape. Pretty clean. I mean, we'll wipe her down. Some extra cams for machines with lowering links, because he's got Scotch Oaks out there. Another 1-to-1. This one probably needs a good cleaning. That's why it's wrapped in plastic. Spare 2-to-1. They took it out the easy way. That's okay. Just one bolt and the thing comes off. We don't need that. Cool, cool. So let's see if we can harvest this. What I'm thinking is maybe we can just stick it in there and yeah, there you go. And pull. And then we'll take this to need some rag. Hold on here. Take this down to 29. We're going to use this ancient rake spring tube compressor that Mr. Mike Murphy gave to me in my early 20s. R.I.P. Mike. I really should stop being quite so lazy and get another magnetic mount for my phone so that I could like stick you guys up there and just roll. But what we're going to do, we're going to pull our top end off. We're going to bring this one in. We're going to use our tool. It's basically 2 hooks and a giant bolt that squeezes or pulls the hook ends together. So we're gonna put this on there. We're gonna squeeze it together and secure it. Then we're gonna pull a rake shaft. We're gonna swap the rake shaft out. I was thinking that maybe we could bolt a repair kit on, because I think I saw one in the shop, an old Zott kit. But they're telling me that the rake arm on this side, it slides up and down, and it's not secured, and I think the best bet is probably just replacing the whole rake shaft. So breaker's off, machine's unplugged. Look at this. She's kind of shot. I don't think there's any good way to fix that safely and make it last, right? I mean, we might be able to, no, your clamp screw here is like all the way down. So the shaft, the rake shaft itself, yeah, you can feel a shoulder in there. It's gotten skinnier over time. Yeah, she's a goner. Total failure. I'm not gonna do rake shaft swap on camera. I've done a couple already. One of my very first video, or no, one of the second videos was a rake shaft swap. Either way, ancient history at this point. So I guess if you want to see a rake shaft swap out, go back in time and I think watch the second video I ever made. Rake shaft swap. I used a GoPro that I bought used on Fleabay. And, you know, it was okay, but I realized I got a new phone, one of the Samsung S22 Galaxies, whatever, and I'm like, holy cow, the camera on this thing's awesome. So, we've been running with that ever since. So, while nobody was looking, I got the tube end swapped, and I clamped her back down. It's a 13/16, and I just use the drill. It goes a lot faster than a ratchet, because time is money, right? So we're going to open up our latch on our shotgun or collapsible rake link. Allow it to drop. We're going to take our springs off. Each side, our rake drop springs are coming out. We need to remove our turret jam switch, because we're going to drop the front of the turret down, right? We need to take that jam switch out of the way so we don't crush it, because when the front of the turret goes down, the rear of the turret goes up, and that's a pain in the ass switch to change out, so let's not break it, right? Then we're going to take our turret front supports off. We're going to remove our bolts on the side frame here for our rake shaft, and we should then be allowed to come out of the machine. So I'm giving this a quick once over, and it's mostly there, right? We're missing a bushing here for some unknown reason, but our hardware looks intact. She doesn't look too maybe a little bit twisted. Yeah, I don't know if you can see. Might not be coming up on camera, but she's just a little crooked, not much. This will work, but I'd like to find a bushing for that before I install it, if they have one, right? If not, fuck it. Well, that's going to be a no, because there's no part bin for that bushing, either the flanged or the sleeves. So maybe we can pull it out of the one that comes out of the lane. I don't know. We'll do what we can, right? So we got our turret jam switch removed here. It was a little difficult because our little bracket here is all bent. This thing was kind of like pinched in between the mount and that, but she's all out now. It's not time to take more ibuprofen, but it sure feels like it. So we're going to jump around to the front side. We're going to remove our links on the front side of our sweep link to the 4-to-1 crank. So we're going to drop our links down. We're going to take our curved shoe bell crank rake links out, because there's not a new set on the spare. I'm going to take our rake drop springs off, take our front supports off, unbolt the sides, and she'll come right out. We're going to start by removing this bolt on the vertical link. On the nut side, there's a little tiny spacer in this vertical link that we need to be careful not to lose. Then we're going to move down to the hook. We're going to remove this bolt. Because we're at 0 still, our curved shoe is trapping our bell crank in there. What we can do, if you look up here, we're going to remove this X pin to the control link to the detector. That's going to allow our curved shoe to rotate, and our hook and link assembly will just drop right out. That pin through there, that was a pain in the butt. You know, these machines haven't seen good preventive maintenance or lubrication in, I don't know, like 2 decades. So I had to pry it out with pliers. Yeah, hooks out. So we're going to jump around down below. We're going to take our rake board and arms off. Maybe you can see why I wasn't so super duper worried about one missing bushing. Yeah. So just FYI, the pins feed in that direction, and the X washers face the kickback division. These are backwards. What can happen is if this X washer lets go, your pins can back out and you'll hang up against the kickback division, or your kick plate, right? That's not good. And then you've got a bind. Then you've got bent sweep arms. So we've got all 4 of our pins out. So we're going to take this and go under the masking unit, put it out of our way, out on the lane. The rake lift rods, you don't have to dropped it. You don't have to take them out. If you have some zip ties, little bungee cord or something, just zip tie them right there, right out of the way. Keep dropping it. Stop. It's not a Monday. Next step, we're gonna take our rake drop springs off. I'm gonna do both sides. You're gonna see one side. I'm gonna take this lower bolt out for our rake shock, and we're just gonna take the rake shock and flip it upside down over there, get it out of the way. So we got both our springs off, and our V shaft, our top shaft, pivoted up. The weight of the cushion pulled it down. That in turn is going to bring this C lever under here. We can use this as support, right? So as we're coming out, we can unbolt this side and just let it drop and rest on that. Then we'll unbolt that side, carry the whole thing out. And likewise, when bringing it in, we're going to put this side on first and hang it here. Then bring that side up and bolt it in, come back and bolt in this side. Super easy. We do have to get our turret front supports off first. So before I take this off, I did make some Sharpie marks on the threads, so I know where to go when I put it back together. At least ballpark it, right? The other thing too is this cannon plug. This one's been routed correctly, so that's really nice. Need to move this out of the way. We're just gonna take that, put it right on top of the circuit box. So our turret's dropped down. We're gonna remove our turret supports. I'm gonna lay them there so I remember which one's lefty, which one's righty. From there, it's just 2 bolts here, 2 bolts there, and she's gonna come out. Oh man, we just went from cruising along to struggle bus. It appears that there is Loctite in here. Yeah. Wow. Oh God. Are you okay? I think I smacked you in the face accidentally. I apologize. I'm gonna grab a socket for this. Speed wrench is good, but it's not great for this. We are going to make note that we had 1 shim on that bearing stud, so when we put it together, we'll start with 1 shim on that bearing stud. So we are going to have to find 1 new rake pin for the lower side here. That one's gone. Yeah, look at that. She just wore through and then went boing. So one helpful tip. When you put your bearing studs back in, clock your holes vertical, north-south, right? Up, down. Don't get them crooked. It'll help you get your top bolt. You always start with the top bolt and then let gravity pull it down and you'll square up pretty good. So we've got all 4 of our bolts started in. This is where we remember our shim. Do we have the same amount of room? Yes, we do. Sorry. Bad cameraman. Wobbly. You couldn't see what I was doing. Shim is back in. Lateral movement, minimal. Looking good. So we're going to tighten these bolts down, and then we're just going to work backwards, right? From where we started. So we're pretty much done on the front side here. We've got everything back together. Cable down to the boosters, plug back in. We brought our nuts and our jam nuts up to our Sharpie lines. What we need to do next is find another X pin for our rake board and attempt, if we can, to find the best bushing on the one that's out there and harvest it so that we can bring it in here and at least give this thing the best fighting chance that we can give it. So we pulled the best bushing out of the other one. Really only had one choice. 2 were missing and 1 was destroyed. But look at the hole on this. This hole on this rake shaft arm is blown out. You know, this isn't a new piece, right? This was pulled used somewhere and been sitting in storage for a while. So this is the best that we can do right now. So we need one more pin so that we can replace this absolutely destroyed one. This is also too long. This is a rake shock, a top pin for a rake shock, not rake shock, pardon me, pit cushion shock absorber. Yeah. Before we head to the workshop, we're gonna bolt our micro switch, our turret jam micro switch back down, so that we don't forget. I have a tendency to forget little things like that and then wonder why the machine won't turn on. Well, unfortunately, I couldn't find any of the right size X pins. So we're gonna use another pit cushion linkage pin and some washers, just like we found it. It's not ideal, but it'll work. This bushing is sticking out a little far. So we're gonna play another round of Everything is a Hammer. There we go. Yeah, perfect. Now, yeah, this is like gold around here, and a whole pack of 1/4-inch X washers, so we can use 4 new ones, plus one more for up there, so we don't have to recycle any of this one-time use hardware. So moving on from our rake board, we got our X pin back in. X washer is on it. This pin is a little long. I couldn't find the exact pin for that either, but we should theoretically be able to push the rake in with our foot and compress it and let our extractor or our compressor tool come out like that. So let's clean up our pile of tools here at the top of the turret, and we're gonna make sure we didn't leave anything behind, and we'll run through some adjustments. I think we're gonna take a little detour here with our oil can and rag. We're gonna lube those pivot points first. So we're gonna start top down. Sorry, I know this is not great lighting, but we're gonna lube our pivot point here for our V shaft, top of our rake shaft here, 3 or 4 nice dollops of oil, our pivot point for the top of our rake lift rods, okay, springs, the spring posts, somewhere in there. I can't see what I'm doing, hopefully you can. Awkward. Bottom spring seat. We're gonna jump down, climb over the deck light here. I like to do inside and outside of the bushings. Same on the other side. Boop, boop. Yeah, this oil dropper bottle is not excellent. It's not mine though either, right? It belongs to their workshop. So if they like it, good for them. V-shaft, a little bit there. Vertical links for our, yeah, how are we gonna get that in there? Very carefully. Bell crank, I'm gonna go in between the sweep frame here and our hook. Bottom link here. Drop on each side of that rod end. Same with this. One there, same on the other side. You may not be able to see. I can almost not see either. There we go. All right, so she's lubed up. So earlier in the workshop, I said the rake arms were just a little bit bent. You can kind of see that here. How our rake board and our deck light aren't square with each other, right? That arm is a little bit more forward. Is it a huge deal? Probably not, considering they have many other machines that are in far worse condition. So like always, we're gonna have the machine off on the rear switch. Okay. Plugged in, breaker on. We are not quite at 0 degrees. Our crank arm is pointed straight down instead of straight back. That's okay. Uh-oh. I got no power. Uh-oh. What did I do? What did I do? Did someone turn off the masking unit switch? Maybe. I don't know. Let's go find out. Well, let's do a 1 amp fuse check first. Oh. Breaker is off. Machine is unplugged. That looks okay, but looks can be deceiving, right? Maybe we should get a meter. Well, good thing we checked. This is a 4 amp fuse. We are not going to put this back in. I have 1 amp fuses with me, so we're gonna replace it with OEM spec. So that fuse probably isn't bad, right? I discovered something else when I stopped and just looked. We're in a deck jam condition. Our deck is not fully forward, so we blacked out on deck jam for some reason. It's been like that the entire time that we've been working here, and I never noticed. So shame on me. So 1 amp fuse only. If you put anything higher than 1 amp in there, you run the risk of destroying your entire circuit box. I know, because I've seen it happen several times. And rewiring an entire circuit box is not fun, especially when it's super avoidable, right? With the right fuse. So we've got her back down to 270. Let's hop down and see if we can find where that bind was. Oh no, you're sideways again, wait. What I like to do when I'm trying to eliminate problems, I'm actually feeling the bolt heads. And if these bolt heads are recessed into the spotting tongs, anything sticking out could be a potential hang-up spot. So we're just gonna go through and see if we can feel any spots that aren't good. So I'm not feeling anything out of the ordinary here. Let's jump up top. We'll fire it up and see what happens. Nothing. We may not have had a deck jam, right? We know we weren't at 0. Maybe the deck was in the process of still shifting forward. I think that maybe we should be looking at the wall breaker in their service closet out there. We could meter, see if we've got 208 here at our plug. Yeah, check it out. The breaker's tripped here for lane 29. So let's go ahead and reset it. There we go. I bet it'll work now. So breaker on, rear switch on. Yep. So we sent her home. The brake board stayed down though. We didn't relatch. That's okay, not to worry. So we're going to trip the clutch, turn the machine on. We're going to jog it through to about 45, 90 degrees ish. Yeah, she didn't relatch. She should have. We'll just go ahead and manually do that for now, right? Because we know we're going to have to mess around with our adjustments. We just need the latch to latch, right? So we're going to go to 180. Oh, sweep did not engage. this is gonna be more. Yeah, it's so loud. The whole block knows that there's a trouble call on lane 6 now. Jesus, that is ridiculously loud. Our rake stops are not gonna work in this configuration. Awesome. So we're going through doing rake adjustments. We're kind of buttoning everything up. I did notice that we've got a nut missing right here. If you saw that before I did, you have some very eagle eyes. All right, missing nut has been replaced. Most of our adjustments are looking pretty good. What we're going to do is we're going to jog it slowly through one cycle, and then we're going to run at full speed. So right now we're kind of mid-sweep. We did our rake board height. What I didn't get on camera was shock absorber, the length of our shotgun or collapsible rake link, the length of our sweep link, our forward stops, our 180 safety stop. We've kind of done all that rigmarole before. So let's jog her through 180, release, she looks good. Let's do it for real, full speed. Nice, very nice. Let's watch it from the front side. Let's get down low. Trip our ball detect beam. Pretty good, pretty good. One more time. We're waiting for pins. We're not playing with a full deck. There you go. I think it's time to pack out. All of that for that. Ay, ay, ay. What an epic adventure, huh?